If you go to a store or a restaurant or a party and she is there, you must leave immediately.
Okay.
If you see her outside her house, you go in yours. You understand?
Gotcha.
You don't sit outside next to her. You don't have any communication. You don't even look at her. You don't flip her off. You got me? I'm not being funny.
Oh, this is court.
Good afternoon, Ms. Carter. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, this is 242340, the state of Michigan versus India Carter.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. James Kazicki on behalf of Ms. Carter. Waive reading of the complaint, stand mute. Ms. Carter indicates that she'll represent herself in this matter. Just for the court's information, the victim does not live with Ms. Carter, but she is a neighbor.
All right, Ms. Carter, you understand that you have a constitutional right to an attorney?
Yes.
And if you can't afford an attorney, one would be appointed to represent you?
Yes.
And you understand that Mr. Kazicki, the attorney that tried to meet with you, is an attorney for you?
Yes.
And are you waiving your right to a lawyer?
I am a marital lawyer.
Okay. Ma'am, you're here today because there's an allegation against you. The allegation is that on September 24th of 2024, at a location of 15796 Court Village in the city of Taylor, you did make an assault or an assault and battery upon the following person, Tariana Tanaya Stewart, contrary to MCL 750.81, parent 1. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days and or $500. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under MCL 750506 if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Ms. Carter, if you require accommodations to use the court because of disabilities, or if you require a foreign language interpreter to help you fully participate in court proceedings, please let the court know immediately so that we can provide those accommodations. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have been brought to court on a misdemeanor charge, and you have the following basic rights: to plead guilty or not guilty, or to stand mute. If you stand mute, a plea of not guilty will be entered. You may plead no contest with the permission of the court. You have a right to a trial by jury and to have the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to an attorney appointed at public expense if you cannot afford to hire an attorney. If the offense requires a minimum jail sentence, which yours does not, or the court determines that you might be sentenced to jail, the appointing authority will decide if you are indigent, meaning you don't have money for a lawyer, and appoint counsel if you are eligible. On the form, it indicated that you did want to speak with an attorney, but it's my understanding that you've now waived your right to counsel. Is that accurate?
Yes.
You may have to pay the expense of the appointed attorney, and you can contest your ability to pay the order fees if the court attempts to collect any cost for an attorney, and the court must determine your ability to pay at that time. You have the right to a trial by jury. If you have a trial, you have the following rights: to call witnesses to speak for you at trial, and you can get an order signed by the court to require witnesses to come to court. You have a right to see, hear, and question all witnesses against you at trial, to be a witness for yourself, or to remain silent. If you chose not to be a witness on your own behalf, the prosecutor could not comment on your refusal to testify. You also have a right to be presumed innocent unless you're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If you plead guilty or no contest and your plea is accepted, you will not have a trial of any kind, and you will give up the rights listed in 3 to 5 that I just read to you. You have the right to be released on bond. If you are now on probation or parole and you enter a plea of guilty or no contest, or a finding of guilt is made by a judge or a jury, it may result in a violation of your probation or parole. You can be sentenced to jail and fines plus costs. I have already advised you the name of the offense, the mandatory minimum jail sentence, if any, there is none on your offense, and the maximum possible penalty for the offense, which includes jails, fines, or both. Fines, costs, and other financial obligations imposed by the court must be paid at the time of assessment, except when the court allows otherwise for good cause shown. If you are not able to pay due to financial hardship, contact the court immediately to request a payment alternative under MCR 6.425, parent D, parent 3. An appeal to circuit court may be taken within 21 days from the date of sentence or is permitted under MCR 6.625, parent B. If the sentence includes incarceration and you wish to file an appeal but are financially unable to retain a lawyer, the court will appoint a lawyer to represent you on appeal if the request is made within 14 days of date of sentence. Federal law and/or state law may prohibit you from possessing or purchasing ammunition or a firearm, including a rifle, pistol, or revolver, if you are convicted of a misdemeanor crime of violence and you are a current or former spouse, parent, or guardian of the victim. You share a child in common with the victim. You are or were cohabitating with the victim as a spouse, parent, or guardian, or you are or were involved with the victim in another similar relationship. Do you understand your rights, Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Okay, so as to arraignment today, you can plead guilty, not guilty, or stand mute. How do you plead, ma'am?
Not guilty.
All right, a not guilty plea will be entered on your behalf. All right, Ms. Carter, I see that you do not have a criminal history. Can you tell me how old you are, ma'am?
26. Is that about it?
You're how old, I'm sorry?
6.
26?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Carter, I see you don't have a criminal record. This is the allegations against you are assaultive in nature, but based on your lack of criminal history, and my understanding is the allegation does not indicate that you used a weapon of any kind, I am giving you $1,000 personal bond. That means you do not have to post any money to get out of jail. Do you understand that?
What does that mean?
That means you don't have to post any money, but you must appear at court for your court dates.
Okay. Okay.
All right, these are the conditions though. And if you violate these conditions, I can revoke your bond and put you in the Wayne County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So it's important that you pay attention to what I'm telling you so that you know what you must do in order to remain out of custody while this case is pending.
Right.
You are to appear in court as directed. You're not to leave the state without permission of the court. You're not to commit any new crimes while released. You're to immediately notify the court of change of address or phone number. You can have no contact with Terriana Stewart. Are you two neighbors?
What did you say?
You cannot have any contact with Terriana Stewart. Is
Okay.
she your neighbor?
Yeah.
I want to be very clear to you what no contact means. Because Ms. Carter, because you're in such close proximity, you live so closely to Ms. Stewart. If you violate these conditions, I will put you in jail. Do you understand me?
Yes.
You cannot call her. You can't write her. You can't email her. You can't send her anything. You can't go to where she lives. You can't go to where she works. You can't go to where she goes to school. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
You cannot have any contact of any kind. And you can't have someone else contact her for you. The only person that can contact Ms. Stewart on your behalf is your attorney. You cannot send a text message, instant message, email, tweet, or any other form of communication. You can't contact her through Facebook, Twitter, or any social media networking site. You can't inquire about her or comment about her on social media. If you have her in your cell phone, delete her and block her. You can't send her blank messages. If the communication comes from you, the court will consider it to be contact. It will not be a defense that you accidentally contacted her. If you go to a store or a restaurant or a party and she is there, you must leave immediately.
Okay.
If you see her outside her house, you go in yours. You understand?
Gotcha.
You don't sit outside next to her. You don't have any communication. You don't even look at her. You don't flip her off. You got me? I'm not being funny. I'm telling you the truth. If she contacts you, do not reply. This is an order of the court. The person named as a victim cannot change, alter, or amend this order in any way. She can't change it, only I can. If she were to invite you over or contact you or ask you to meet her somewhere, you cannot do that because you will be in violation of this court's no contact order. And if you do, you will go to jail. If the order needs to be changed in the future, I will hold a hearing when both sides are present. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions?
No, no questions.
You cannot go to her residence at 15796 Court Village. I'm telling you, if you walk by her, turn your head and go the other way. You cannot possess or have access to firearms, ma'am. Those are your bond conditions. Are you, ma'am, we have an address for you. One second. Ma'am, this is not funny. You've got no criminal record. You're in your 20s. There's nothing funny about today. You're charged with a crime.
I'm smiling because it seems like I get to see my babies.
What's that?
I'm just smiling because it seems like I'm going to see my babies. I have 3 children. I've been missing them. So I'm happy.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I have an address for you. Are you at 794 Court Village?
Yes.
All right. You can return to that address. You're to have no contact, and we'll send you court dates for your next court appearance. Okay, ma'am?
Okay.
All right. You're all set.
Ooh.